Hi, my name is Ruben Rossetti, and this is my review of Industry Giant 2 for the Xbox One. This review is in partnership with BigBossBattle.com, who've kindly given me the code from developer United Independent Entertainment. This review is 100% my own opinion and I'm not getting paid for it. So, what is Industry Giant 2? Well, I must admit I hadn't heard about this, so I did a little bit of research. And this has been out on the PC, ironically, since 2002. It then got upgraded on Steam around 2015, and it's finally made its way to Xbox. Industry Giant 2 is a bit similar to the Roller Coaster Tycoon franchise. Basically, you're tasked at creating a booming and thriving economy, and you have to manage it and create it and build it up. So if you're into this sort of thing, this game's going to really suit you down to the earth. And this leads me on to the gameplay. Now, there is a campaign mode, a tutorial mode, and an endless mode. Once you've done the tutorial mode, that gives you a rough idea of how things work within the game. It's probably best to move on to the campaign mode. Now, you have a variety of different levels, range from easy to hard, as well as specially themed missions. Each difficulty only features one mission, and you're not locked into a progression-based system either, so you don't have to worry about beating one difficulty to unlock another. Thank God for that. Easy mode was my first choice for this game, and my very first mission was a very simple task where I had to basically turn $1 million into $4 million within 5 years. Now, this could be classed easy. I found it a little bit difficult in some cases. Industry Giant is fairly in depth. If numbers and graphs are your style, this is a big part of the game. It's all about managing your money in a really efficient way. For instance, production can be raised or lowered at the cost of workers' salaries, which also can affect the supply of whatever product is being produced. Clicking on any given store basically brings up plenty of helpful numbers such as units sold, how much money they've made, as well as the supply and demand product, which I use quite a lot to try and work out things and when or where it needs to be adjusted. As far as like the city building part of the game, it's not too in-depth. You can create towns from scratch. Each map has a number of towns and road systems already in place. However, you can make these cities larger by building homes if you desire. You can also connect these towns together by various methods such as trains or delivery trucks. This kind of lets you take products from town to town without having to waste too much money on duplicated farms or factories. Now, that helps a lot in one town is located in, let's say, a bad part of the map and can't produce some products as efficiently as, say, another town, which kind of leads on to my next point. Farm, factories and orchards, they yield different results depending on the area you construct them. For example, chickens or cows prefer open grassy areas, which in turn will produce your specific product faster. All of this must be connected to a storage plant, which must be connected to a store, and that store only covers a certain area of the town. That was probably the biggest fault when I was playing around with the first mission. I just kept putting things in the wrong position. It didn't highlight it very well enough, and so I kind of lost the first mission quite numerous times. Early on, when you're not focusing on food farms, there's also things like crops that could be done in season. Now, on the right side here, you can see that there's a little display that says 8th of 10th May there. It's just moved up. And that's the day goes forward. Now, one good thing about this is it basically, you can stop time and you can fast forward time at a rate of knots. One thing it doesn't tell you, so if you like say got a fruit farm, which I did have, which is on the left hand corner there, they only grow in seasons, but it doesn't tell you visually a season. The seasons doesn't change, so you're like, well, is something happening? Is not going to happen? And things can just literally, and you basically look like it's just losing money all the time. Now, if a single objective isn't your thing and you think campaign might be a bit boring, then probably endless mode is going to be the best thing for you. And this is one I found probably the most enjoyable. Basically, you and up to 3 CPU players can play in a multiplayer match, which appears to be whoever has the best economy wins effectively. And then you've got little game modifiers which you can set the time period, anything from 1900 to 2019. The time you play in also affects what technology you will be available from the start and what technology will be learned on later on. There's also a large variety of maps you can choose from. And probably one of the things I actually quite enjoyed was just messing around actually without a CPU, just myself, and just playing around with the game and just building things. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Because this is a straight PC port, I don't think the developer has had enough experience when taking it over to consoles. One of the items I found quite frustrating was the very large tab in the center screen here. Now, whilst you can move it around slightly, it's not moved in a position where I'd like it. For instance, I'd like it right in the far top left hand corner or top right hand corner, so I get the best screen visibility. You can't do that. It's only almost fixed to a certain square box in the center, which is frustrating when I'm trying to look at the tabs or trying to build things at the same time, or try and get the information or data whilst building things. This, I don't think, has been done quite well and really does need looking at, because I think this will frustrate a lot of potential new players. Another item is also the sub-menus. The sub-menus are a bit too small. So, for instance, if I'm sitting on the sofa and watching this, I had to get up numerous times to try and read what it was saying, which was... I know it's a gripe, but it's a gripe that really shouldn't be done in today's world. It's, if they're going to port this, they probably could have made some adjustment, I feel. Another item was the tutorials. There's only 3 tutorials, which I really don't think it gives you the best understanding of how this game is supposed to be played. There's a lot of things I didn't know how to do, and that was just, as I said, went into endless mode and start trying to work things out. I couldn't work out for a while how to get stuff from a train to a storage facility, then into the shop. It just wouldn't let me connect, and I didn't know how to do it. Another item which was a gripe was that on the trucks you can actually say wait till it's full. Now, you have to highlight the actual segment and then press X, but there is a little tick box in the right hand corner, so most people just go and highlight the tick box, but that tick box doesn't actually work. It just sends you back to the game, which means that I don't think they've actually thought about how certain things work. I don't think it's been properly ported in terms of the best way for a console. And this leads me on to the graphics of the game. Well, as I said earlier on in the review, this game was a 2002 that's been kind of then optimised to 2005. I think what they've done here, the developer is obviously porting this to Windows 10. They've decided to port it to the console as well. So the graphics are basically, they're from 2002. You take them as they are. You can see they're bitty, you can see they're blocky, but apart from that, they're kind of cutesy and they're kind of pretty quaint in their own little way. And the towns themselves are bustle with life. The cars brum, the trains puff out little puffs of smoke. The birds do kind of flap, but in that kind of 2002 style. But once you get past that, generally the graphic is kind of enjoyable to the eye, in a kind of like a retro way, and for that I kind of found myself forgiving it, and not expecting it to be the smooth polish of a 2016. Overall, I actually quite enjoyed the graphics, and I don't know, maybe it's the old retro bit coming out of me. I kind of enjoyed this look. So what does Industry Giant 2 have regarding sound? Well, the sound is a bit like the graphics. The music's pretty standard for this type of game from the era it's released. There is some nice little cheeky music that plays in the background. There's little sound bites of when you get close to a farm. You hear the hens clucking and cows mooing. Same thing when you get to a roller coaster. You hear people like screaming with joy. They're basically little sound bites which just pop up and appear. Then again, it is what it is. There's not too much in depth. They basically, your main aim of the focus is to build money, not to listen around to the sound. It's there, it's okay, It does its job, and that's about as far as it goes. And this leads me on to the rating of the game. Now, I rate games in order of avoid, rent, great purchase, and must own. My rating for this game of Industry Giant 2 for the Xbox One is rent, and this is for the following reasons. The control system does need an overhaul, in my opinion. They need someone who uses the console control system a lot more. It's just a bit too clunky. It doesn't really work as quickly or as finely as well. There are options that have been obviously taken from the PC which just don't work on the console. Also, one big frustration is they've got a huge tab, the main center tab, which cannot be moved from your main view, which restricts your viewing pleasure and distracts from the game itself. The game is a bit dated, but it still has a deep management system that fans of the genre will love, though I do believe newcomers may struggle to get into it. However, my biggest gripe has got to be the price. The price of this game currently on Xbox One is £31 or $35 for a 2002 game that's I don't believe's had its port done well enough. This is a bit overpriced. If this was around £18-19, I'd probably give this a better rating. But as it stands, they're been charging you for a 2002 game that hasn't been properly ported over or had a bit more time spent on it. Now, what do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Please leave your comments below. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll speak to you again soon.